professionally that you know from the colleague place, and then to your friends, and then to also your family and strangers. Just talk and introduce yourself to all this person, like you want to this person to know about you, about your strength, about your about what you can do to the community, and why Chevening want to take you uh for their next scholarships, and what you want people to know about you. So that would be like you brand yourself and talk to them. So that's the first tip. And the second tip will be you must know yourself first before you want to talk to others. So is this success, the key to success is when you know yourself, your own strength and weakness. So every time they answer about yourself, you must answer in a very natural manner, because and being honest about it. And it's all already in your essay, the strength and potential. They already saw your potential from essay. You just need to mention it and talk about it. Yeah, and highlight it so that they understand. Then the third tips will be usually to Chevening, they want to know about what have you been done to the community and what's your public engagement. So highlighted that in your interview about your community engagement and public engagement. What contribution have you been done towards them? And talk it like with a heart and passion, because they are human also, so they want to know what have you been done to the community. So they will see from your passion when you talk. So the fourth tips will be every time you get question from the interview, you must have strategy to answer it. Like strategy using a STAR method approach, which is what situation of it, and then the T would be the task. So the goals that you want to achieve, and then the A will be actions. What action will you do to achieve the task and the goal that you plan? And then the R is the result. What result will you expected from your outcome? This will all apply for all four uh, key in the essay, which is the leadership, the networking, the career plan. Everything is involved, and you can always use this approach method. And the last tips will be natural when you talk, because like I thought just now, I feel also a bit anxious and nervous. But when you practice more, you'll become more natural, and you talk to them like you're talking like a new friend, because they are just human also. They just want to know you. They want to engage in the conversation. And during the conversation with your interview, just smile first, so everything will be okay, inshallah. Yeah. So that's my tips. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rahima. I think next one is me or Hector. Let's see. Yeah, it's me. So guys, I mean, I'm sharing the tips every day on my platform on Instagram. And I'm writing a lot of posts. I'm recording videos, what to do and what not. But today I will try to summarize it and be very short. But I want to say that there are speakers that has different experience, and we mean Hector or Rahima or any other speaker that are participating of the project. We will share only our experience, which is worked for our cases, and you have to write down all the tips and make a note, but find a suitable approach for you, because maybe sometimes over the year I realized that when I sharing star approach, I find it out that some of the scholars find much more comfortable different approach. So just remember, we will share our methods, our experience, and you have to find your best approach to present yourself, to be natural. So I'll start. What is very important is that we have to plan our interview. And I remember when I was participating of global mentorship program, my mentor, dear, from Kurdistan, told me that I have to read essay, and like he's sending us emails every day, like read your essay, read your essay. And that time I did not realize. I was like, yeah, I wrote this essay, I know. But trust me that this essay written a couple of months ago, and maybe you have to go back, read, just not because you are not familiar, just because to find a gap, because 500 words is not a huge amount to express yourself fully, and find a gap, what is gap in your essay, to present and show up on the interview prepared, to find, to like clarify this gap, to explain to the panelists more about it. So that's why we need to read our essay as many times as you can. So that my second tip is marketing yourself is very, very important. And what I mean about marketing yourself is that when you go to the interview stage or before, you have to create a kind of brand, and all of your answer have to be suitable for this brand. So imagine you're all a marketing manager for yourself, because this interview, trust me, that it's the time that you have to show that you are a brilliant, outstanding person, that right now is the time to study in the UK. And after that, you will come back and you will do everything that you written in your career plan. Don't overreacting, or don't make action uh, which presenting yourself that you really want to go, but show them that it's necessary right now and this year to be a Chevening Scholar. So think what's the good promotion for yourself to show and presenting for panelists this. Next tip for me is a design. As Rahima already mentioned about star approach, I won't spend too much time about it. I will just mention that in my case, star approach was the crucial, because imagine that you sharing your story with someone else that who are not familiar about you. Trust me that I have been panelist last year. I had essays before to read. I have read, of course, but it was a lot of information to remember. So the interview is kind of new stage where you start sharing your story from the beginning. Forget that you wrote essay for a couple of minutes, not fully, because all of your speech have to be depending on this essay. Forget this. So use the star approach to clarify everything from the very beginning. So that's why we need this kind of approach to organize our answer for everyone who does not know about us, to make it possible to understand our story much more than it's possible. So next tip is research. I know you are maybe familiar about Chevening, but my advice is read Chevening website every day, because there is a lot of information about what kind of activities Chevening doing for fellow Cheveners, what kind of conferences Chevening does have when you are a student, because this kind of information you will use on the interview stage to present that you are not coming out of blue sky and starting applying for Chevening. You are a leader who already know why this person applying for Chevening, why it's necessary to being there. It's not only studying based scholarship. Remember that Chevening has one of the huge community, a huge diverse group from 106 people around 160 country. So use this chance to represent how you will, how much you are exciting to go there and engage with this kind of people. For this to make it happen, reading Chevening website will be helpful. Like make familiar of yourself about Chevening activities. What kind of like activities Chevening plan for Chevening scholars while they are in the UK, and why it's gonna be crucial or important for you to engage with other like-minded people. So use this tip as a daily reminder for you, because Chevening updating their website, their social media every day. So read the blogs there and read what other scholars shared. So it's super useful, and use it every day, please. And my last key tips is that sometimes people, when they reach to the interview stage, and which is very normal, they are so frustrated that they are there. Trust me, I have seen people like that. Sometimes they are overwhelming, which is normal, and I have been one of them. It's normal to be anxious, to be nervous on the interview day, but don't forget that you are unique, because being there for the interview stage means that Chevening High Commission has already found a very interesting of yourself by reading your essay. Right now, on the interview stage, this is the time for you to shine, just presenting what you wrote in your essay, and show the panelists that you are the truly leader who gonna change the world, make a small positive impact for the community, for the field, for the country. And this knowledge that you will gain in the UK is super crucial to make you push for being on the stage that you want. So I also wrote here my Instagram page, but I think you already are familiar about it. And that was all from my side for today. And Hector, floor is for you.
Okay, great. Now it's my turn to explain about my interview experience. So basically, as we have already heard, being part of the interview process is in itself a huge success. I mean, you demonstrated a great value proposition with your essays, and you were shortlisted or you were selected to participate in this next phase of the interview. So first of all, congratulations. I think it's a great thing to learn how to transfer your ideas or to communicate your ideas once that were on paper or in the essay and now on the interview, either online or in person. So, as you have already heard, the STAR method is really useful. I use it to explain my story or to explain my background. I have a background in engineering and in engineering related projects, so it's sometimes difficult to be overly technical of explaining this stuff because, for example, the panelists on the interview may not be familiar uh, with your background or with your research interest, I might say. So I broke down my examples into basic principles or basic ideas that anyone could understand, see, and focus on the results of the efforts that I obtain. So instead of being overly technical or instead of being like uh, giving complex explanations, I just explained the situation, the task that I did, the actions that I completed, and the results that were obtained from that experience. So that helped a lot with my examples of leadership, networking, and my motivation to study in the UK, which was very strong. That's like the first step. Another one of the advices that I might give today is the effective use of time to answer each question. The interviews should last around 30 minutes. In my case, it was 20 minutes. Time went really fast, and I enjoyed every part of the interview because the panelists really made it like a great atmosphere, I might say, for the interview. I felt really comfortable explaining where I came from, what I wanted to do, and why I had chosen Chevening. And I tried to answer each question as complete as possible without overextending, because as it says in the title, you have to make effective use of your time, because if you just focus on one aspect of your application or in one example, eh, it may not be like the best idea to present yourself in those 20 minutes, for example, and to give the panelists a better idea of who you are, what you want to do, because it's really different just from the essays as to have the interview and meet the panelist. You know, it's different. And also with this idea, I recommend you to read your essays a lot. It helped me not only to improve a little bit the vocabulary or the speaking part of the English language, as it's not my first language, but also it helped me to understand better myself, understand better what I had wrote in those essays, because as you know, you completed the essays like in November of the previous year, and the interview is around March or April. So time has passed since you wrote that essay. So I have to recommend you to read it again many times, and also read it out loud. Like as I said, like to practice your English, your speaking skills. So that's the second thing. And the third one is that the interview, it's an opportunity to show your strengths, your goals. It's your opportunity to shine, to make an impact, to make a lastful impression on the panelist. So you have to really think about what you want to express about yourself, what you want to focus on the interview. Uh, Maybe explain a bit of what have you done since you wrote the essays, because I believe maybe some of you have achieved great things during these months. So during the interview, I had the opportunity to dive deeper into the essays and showcase well, my strengths as a candidate. Um, and with these goals, you know, like the short terms, medium terms, and long term goals, I use the SMART approach, which provides like a guideline to have specific, measurable, actionable, and goals that are realistic and in a timely manner. So I recommend a lot to use the this SMART approach. So that's some of the tips. In my case, as I said, the interview went really great. Around 20 minutes, explaining about around one example for each of the main topics, like the leadership, networking, why the UK, and my goals. But I had a difficult question, one question that I did not expect. So be prepared also for those unexpected twists and turns. And it was the question about what was the hardest situation that I had dealt as a leader, or what mistakes have I done as a leader. So that those questions took me a bit back, and I had to think quickly on my feet and, well, uh, answer accordingly. And then I will say that you have to reflect. I mean, think about your achievements and strengths, like really dive deep into who you are, what you want to do. Read your essays and understand your history. Make sure the history is aligned with what you want and what you want from your future. I will also say to relax before the interview. Definitely have a good rest before the interview and get into a winner or a winning mindset, thinking that you can do it, because you can absolutely do it. You can be successful in the interview and become a Chevening Scholar and later a Chevening alumni. Uh, and the other advice that I will do is to keep it simple, especially if you're on STEM related courses or want to study STEM-related master. Do not go into highly technical details about your projects, about the master itself, or the science that you're studying, because in these technical explanations, some important stuff could get lost because, as I said before, the panelists may not be familiar with your background, may not be familiar with what you're studying. So I think this is especially useful for the STEM candidates because, for example, I use my experience building the first Guatemalan satellite. I was part of the team that developed this first CubeSat, and I did not go into highly technical details or complex details surrounding the project. I just explained what was the impact, what was the goal, and explain it in simple terms what I did that helps to contribute to the success of the project. So that's a special advice for all of you that may be studying STEM related courses. And finally, we'll hope for the best. I mean, getting invited to this interview is a huge step. I mean, not many people are interviewed, as you may guess. So it's a big thing. I mean, wait and hope for the best. Continue with your applications at the universities if you have not completed them. Continue with your English tests if you have not completed them also, and well, start researching about what it will be the life on the UK or the city that you selected. So just wait and hope for the best, and around June or July, you will get the definite answer, right? So that will be the methodology that I recommend. And well, good luck to everyone. You got this. For further questions, I added my Instagram, Hector F. Gomez, and also my email if you ever want to reach out and ask some questions, because I believe that it's really useful to contact alumni or scholars. In my case, I contact Chevening alumni from Guatemala that also studied mechanical engineering, and his tips were really helpful when going in the interview. So if you have any questions and that you can ask later, well, you can contact me. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hector and Rahima. It was amazing tips, guys. And every time I listen to the other speakers, I feel envy to you as a participant that you have opportunity of listening them and take advantage from asking the question. So we are moving